Pope Benedict XVI has announced that he will step down on February 28th. The 85-year-old says that he is going as he lacks the energy to continue. Well, Stacy Meictry is joining us from Paris. Stacy, this was quite a bit of a shock news from the Vatican.
Yeah, it was completely unexpected. Obviously, there are very few historical precedents for a pope stepping down. There have been a couple cases in the Middle Ages and during the Renaissance. But as far as modern history is concerned, this is not something popes have done traditionally.
I mean, it's interesting because he was only actually pope since 2005, so he's only been in the job for about 8 years.
Yes, and those have been a fairly tumultuous 8 years. I should start out by saying that this pope temperamentally, intellectually, he was a pope that preferred to be in his study, that really enjoyed writing books, was praised as an intellect and as a writer, and all of a sudden he was thrust into the public spotlight, and of course as Pope, coming in on the heels of John Paul II, there was this expectation that he too should sort of be a globetrotter, and to a certain extent he did a lot of traveling, and I think over the years that has really weighed on him and was probably factored into this decision.
Well, I mean, would it be right, Stacy, to say that he was still a fairly controversial figure despite the fact that he liked to sit inside and write?
Yes, I mean, there were several instances where he sort of stumbled into controversy. Early in his papacy in 2006, he gave a controversial speech in Germany where he quoted a text discussing Muhammad, and what happened basically is that it sparked deadly riots across the Muslim world. There was that controversy. There were others that followed, such as the sex abuse scandal over the past year. He's faced divisions within the Vatican stemming from a series of leaks that have come out exposing infighting among his cardinals. So he's been buffeted by several storms.
Of course, he was born Joseph Ratzinger back in Bavaria in 1927. And also, I mean, there was the controversy when it came out that he'd been a member of the Hitler Youth at the age of 14.
Yes.
Which really is just adding to this. What is interesting as well, Stacy, here is what would you say he's going to be remembered for?
Well, I think there are two groups that are going to be looking at him. One are one's going to be looking at his legacy, and that's mainly his intellectual legacy. The fact of the matter is that Joseph Ratzinger, the theologian, was a major contributor to the development of modern Catholicism. Going back to the Second Vatican Council, forward through the papacy of John Paul II, where he served as the former Pope's top theologian, and I think that contribution, those writings are going to endure. There's the second part of his legacy, which has to do more with the headlines, the current events that have popped up over the years, which have cast a negative light on his papacy. History has shown that over time that tends to fade from the public memory.
I mean, of course, he also helped to bring back the use of the Latin Mass very much more in the church as well, didn't he?
He also did a number of very interesting reforms within the church. There was the revival of the Latin Mass. He also made efforts to bridge a gap with the Anglican Church, where he set up a special structure inside Catholicism for Anglicans to come over to Catholicism. So he also did a number of complicated ecclesiological measures that will be remembered.
Stacy, I mean, an interesting time, obviously, for the Catholic Church. Is it likely that his successor is going to be another fairly conservative pope? I mean, what are the thoughts at all in Rome and the Vatican at the moment?
Yeah, it's hard to say at this point, but I think one can assume that they're going to be, looking for a certain level of continuity. This is a Catholic Church that, again, has been, rocked by controversy over the past decade, and if anything, they're going to want someone who's going to provide some stability. Initially that was also the reason why they went to, Joseph Ratzinger back in 2005, the thinking was, after a quarter century of, John Paul II, the rock star Pope, we need somebody who can sort of settle things down and focus on some of the, the internal problems of the church. I think they, might move in a similar direction this time around as well.
Stacy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.